Look guys, I've been trading crypto for a very long time. One thing that frustrates me is shitty exchanges. I'm here to say that the main exchange that I use fills orders, is non-KYC, and cares about their customers. I've partnered with Blofin. On top of that, if you trade with me using my referral, you get access to all my trading bots and tools that I use on a daily basis to find my trades. The links are in the description below. Alright, how's everyone doing? Everyone doing good? How's the market treating? I hope everyone's making some money, at least like as much as you can be. How you doing, Bryce? Everything good with you?
Yeah. I just longed AVAX yesterday. AVAX is moving pretty good. I think that's on the back end of Sol. Yeah, lot of scam coins pumping right now. Haven't seen that in a while, but
Okay. All right. Well, what I want to do is I want to get a fresh watch list here and just do some top down on some majors, some indexes, and then we'll speak about some of the plays that you took, some of the plays that I was looking at, some levels that I have to look at, and some levels that you have to look at. Any coins you guys want to look at in specific, you can let us know down below. We'll take a look at it. But I'm just gonna analyze what's happened, things we've talked about. On BTC right now, we had a beautiful bounce out of this demand on the 3-day. I had pointed that out when we were at the low end. We scalped down from 107.5, right back up to the top end at 110.5, and we took profit. You saw how choppy it gets outside and at the top end of that demand. That's what we took profit off of. It came down, retested the midline, which went in line with this wick. And that's the midline of this demand. I always say in every single one of my streams, if anyone pays attention, that looking to play these levels, not always having to be that 3-day demand. Playing alongside these levels, whether it be your 1-day demand, your 4-hour demand, your 1-hour demand, the 3-day demand, you're going to get reactions off of these levels, and that's how you avoid yourself from getting caught in the middle, right? So, for instance, what's happening now in BTC, we pushed up to 114.2. I'm looking to short 114.7. Why? Because we had these previous wicks down here. We held, deviated this range before eventually printing in that lower high and punching down lower before going higher, and then again going lower. I think that's a good level to short, or at least try your shorts. You get an easy invalidation above this wick, or you get another invalidation above these highs. And the next level of interest for me on the 4-hour would be around this demand. We closed above this range that we've been trading in since the weekend, right? Friday came here, retested, printed this higher low on the top end of demand there, and we haven't really broke structure yet on the 4-hour, and now we pushed up. This would be my level of interest for buys. Do we get filled before then? We'll see. That's kind of what I'm looking at for BTC, and kind of what I want to explain, because I see a lot of people asking questions where and why people take plays at the positions they do. And, this for sure had something to do with my analysis. From a 4-hour perspective, there's a clear divergence there. Really don't even have to open up a chart to see that one. Needless to say, I give you guys those alerts. I'm sure you look at divergences too, Bryce. So if you have his alerts on, I'm sure he said there was a divergence somewhere. And that was a beautiful print. At the bottom end of that 3-day demand that we were looking at that had yet to be tested, really couldn't get a cleaner retest than that. Again, we did take profit there. I like to scalp, but there's always re-entries. I wanted that 100,006 level yesterday to 100,003, or sorry, 110.6 to 110.3. We never got it, but it was still a level I was willing to bet alts, because if BTC were to bounce, I assumed alts were going to get a bigger bounce. We went with our longs on Sol. That definitely had strength, and that's kind of where I want to stop there, and I want to hear your thoughts, Bryce, as well as take some questions. If anybody has some questions.
BTC wise, I had a limit at 114.2, which ended up being top, but I canceled it just because I got some nice trades out yesterday and they were running, and I'm like, okay, I don't need to overcomplicate it. I don't need to have a lot of risk out at the moment. I do think, just looking at it, closing back below 113.3. Then this could just be a deviation of all of these highs. Like if you see from starting pretty much Monday, let me see, I'll drop that chart in the chat. Ideally, bulls don't want to see us lose this level. Ideally, maybe we go down and tap low low 112 900s, 112 800s, and then reclaim 113, and then I think once we reclaim 113, 113.7, we'll probably get a pop up into your short bids. Because I had the same thought process. Mine was just 114.2. Looking at the inefficiency fill from the hourly, from that impulsive move down. When was that? On Sunday. So that's where the 114.2 level came in, and we filled that inefficiency and then immediately rejected. But I do think, yeah, if we get that bounce, we'll probably see a spike up into your short bids. Are you scalping that, or do you have bids above 114.7 as well?
Nah, right now I'm not scalping. I haven't really been scalping. I mean, I'm scalping for sure. Not that level necessarily. Like right here from an intraday perspective, I think you're gambling if you want to enter here. Uh,
100%.
really,
Yep.
these highs are clear, but
Yep.
you get good bids around these wicks. I mean, you could easily take a long here with your stop below the low, or it hunts your stop below that low and then goes back up. I like your level you're looking to bid. I think this line can be good, like 112.7. I do like around the 1 day open. I think that even weekend longers down here can get swept out of their position. So I'm still, uh, I don't know. I'm still gonna hold my 110,000 bids around that level because I think it's a good level to retest. But that being said, we've seen a nice reaction. So I just think it's important to play your levels and trust your analysis, like you're saying. If we do get the 1 day close above, what level are you looking at? I'm looking at like 113.2 ish.
Yeah, yeah, 113, 113.4, I think it was. I just switched over to another chart. 113.4. A daily close above there would be nice. If we get a nice, like, full-bodied bullish candle for a daily close, I mean, I think that'll make the daily look a lot better on BTC. Believe it or, I mean, I know. There are select alts that you focus on, but there are a lot of alts that the dailies look just fantastic on. Um, Alt wise, yeah, dailies are looking pretty good. 3 day closes. When does 3 day close? Give me 1 second. Yeah, we still have a little bit. It's a fresh 3 day open. But yeah, I think a daily close above like 113.5 could be really nice. Really nice.
Yeah, yeah. I like the 1 day as long as we close above 113.2. I think this is a strong reaction regardless.
Yep.
But I do like my level that I'm looking at as far as intraday. Like that 112 is definitely a good level. Um, 5 candles. Yeah, these are pretty good higher lows here too, compressing on the daily. So we pushed up some nice higher lows. It's Wednesday. We got CPI tomorrow, so nice chance for volatility. That being said, do we get it? I do think that we can get towards 118, like towards these highs up here. I think that this squeeze, like this short move from this supply build up here, was pretty aggressive and like easy as far as invalidation goes for anybody entering aggressively intraday. Um, so I think we're gonna squeeze out some of those. Do we print a higher low or a lower high from this point on? I'm not quite sure, but I do think it's possible. Let's say if we push up towards like 118, 120, I would say these are levels of interest as far as I'm concerned. Um, so
114, 114.7 short sided, like you talked about earlier. That's a money bid. I feel like if you're looking to short this, I think that's where you put your chips on the table. And then furthermore, I mean honestly, if we start closing above 117 on the daily, I probably wouldn't try another short until like 121, and at that point, I feel like we'd probably just rip up to new highs. Um, but I think it's important. Like I know you talk about it a lot. I read your channel a lot. Like operating at extremes and having your triggers beforehand. If you're trading this intraday and you're not operating at extremes and you're just kind of just directionally betting without any trigger. Uh, you said it a bit earlier. Like yeah, you're fully gambling right now, especially intraday right now.
yeah, no, absolutely for sure. I brought up another chart here. This is another chart that I look at here. We have tested this trend a few different times. I'm not like super into trends and stuff like that as far as having a full on like trusting the trend type of outlook on the market, but these trends are for sure getting respected in every sense of the word, even the weird ones like this. So we've tapped that trend already. I wanted my bids at that 114.7. I see good confluence for that reason, and what you added as well, Bryce. We haven't closed above this trend as well, so I want to see a closure above. If we go towards 112.7 from this point, I think that's worth maybe entertaining a bid with easy invalidation below this level. Figure out about 111.6. I got my alerts for that if that happens. So I'm going to keep my eyes out for that intraday, but I'm not willing to take a short yet until my levels are tested, or take a long until my levels are tested. I think it's okay to do that. So let's take a look at Ethereum as well. So that 4280 level was beautiful. Crazy rejection of 4420 right now. It pushed up towards 4450. That being said, I do think ETH has a chance to take out these longers from the weekend. I think Aztecs put something like that in his channel. I do think that's possible. If I was in a position off the weekend, what I think, the way ETH is trading, if I was in a position off the weekend, which we rode up and then came back down, took us out. If I was in this position, I would have already fully taken profit.
Yep.
And I would think that if I haven't already and it's coming to take my entry out, that we should at least come towards the 1 day open. Maybe it would hold you in that position if you're in off the weekend off 4280. So you could put your invalidation below 4280, maybe enter in at 4310 as we come to test the daily open. But I think that's inevitable. And we might even look to test this wick, test close to it. I think that ETH is a good bid at around like 42, like 60s, 4250s. So I think trying a scalp there is good. I think you get easy invalidation.
Super easy inval. Super easy inval.
The
I mean, we're
rejection
just
on ETH
we're
right now is
ranging.
pretty telling too. Crazy
Yep.
rejection.
Yep. It's interesting to note too, like exactly where we rejected off of was filling that inefficiency from the rejection on, when would that be, on Friday, like that hourly candle where we sold off 4%, right when we filled that hourly inefficiency. Like that was a, I know you said text went short, that was a absolutely money short.
Yeah, I was good
Um,
short. Good short.
I do think there's a chance that we can bounce intraday here, as we're basically just filling the impulsive move that we made this morning. So I think it'll be like you said, it'll be telling if we don't bounce here. I think if we don't bounce here, there's no reason we don't go and tap 4260. The one thing that worries me a little bit is like if we start closing below 4200s.
Bro, the 1 day on ETH compared to PTC looks atrocious.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
That's
crazy
what
one
that's what
day,
I'm worried
bro.
about.
That's a wild 1 day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really just kind of along the lines of just like picking my levels here and playing them when they come. That's really what I like to do and strategize. I don't think that there's a need to really be looking for positions if you weren't trying to position yesterday. I think that was where you looked along, and you saw how really how should I put this? Not like scared everybody was yesterday. That's really telling. So today, if people are all trying to get long, yeah, it could work, but you want to keep your invalidations tight in the case they don't, because I think you get good retests if you're patient. Let's say like XRP right here. Like I was looking to bid 283 yesterday. I didn't get it. I'm in this position over the weekend. This is my own position. So let me just close that. So I'm looking to enter in XRP if we get like a retest around 290, and I think that's a good enough pullback that if BTC were to retest at around 112, even if we were to retest maybe 110, we could see alts pop up a little bit more if we want to go for that 114.8, 115.2 levels, and move back down. I think anybody's guess is as good as yours, so make a choice. Because I know a lot of people, again, ask questions of why you're looking to bid certain levels, where you're looking to bid. Make a decision by doing this, planning ahead. 4280 has been tested several times and held, has to give at some point. The thing is, we've moved up to 4420 and 4450 levels. So people are in longs from those levels. Like, let me explain this on like a range standpoint. So if you like look at the hourly on ETH, so if you look at the 1 day on ETH, right? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say like almost 2 weeks of price action in the same exact range, right? You have people going long, you have people going short. Okay? You have people in shorts up here, you have people in longs down here. We're trading in the middle of this. So at one point, people are going to get taken out of their shorts that they're holding up here, and some people are going to get taken out of their longs that are trading right there. Which spot's going to get taken first? I think people are too focused about what's happening here, as you should be, because that's where we're trading, and they're not focused enough what's happening here and here. So one side's going to get taken. It's equally the risk to taking longs and shorts right now. That's why you want to play, like Bryce was saying, at the top end of the range or the bottom end of the range. And when I scroll in, like, so I wanted to make that example on the 1 day so you guys can see. Because, like, what's happening now is just noise. Like, look at all this shit. This is crazy. So, if you're even profitable right now, give yourself a pat on the motherfucking back. All right? So,
100%.
again, that 4280 level, although might not be able to hold again, it's a much better level to try than right here. Because if you try right here, you're going to be underwater more than likely, right? Same way on the short end. If you're going short, like Aztecs just took, this is as close to the top end of the range as you could get right now. You did not get that sweep. If we print a lower high and sweep these lows, you have a potential swing. But I wanted to make that example just to show you guys what you're trading. So treat this as if it's like a higher time frame range, I guess. But like that's all you're trading right now. Yeah. So that's kind of what I want to explain.
Once we get acceptance above or below this range, I'm not talking about like a quick sweep to one side and then acceptance back into range. That's when you'll get a clearer sense of like directional bias moving forward. I think personally, I'm not afraid to admit it, my directional bias lately has been up in the air. That doesn't mean that I haven't been catching moves, but I've really had to be careful about, the triggers that I'm taking, right? I need to make sure that I have my confluences in line because, my directional bias is a little bit unclear. And like you said, right now, if you're profitable or your portfolio is net neutral over these past few days while ETH has been chopping, good on you. That's huge.
We'll take a look at SOL in a second. We caught a nice position on SOL. What I really like about the way that I've been trading personally, is I'm picking my spot, right? It's the summertime, so I was chilling, traveling a lot, whatever. The positions I'm playing with the risk that I see fit for the positions that I'm taking and the volume given in the market, as well as the moves that we're getting and how high in the ranges we're trading or low in the ranges we're trading, etc., etc. But also, like, I would think that October is going to be more of a month of movement than July, August, June was. Although we made good moves when we had to, so I like acting where you kind of have to. Not saying I caught everything, but I caught things where it mattered. We played things at the bottoms when we should, like on this 3-day demand level, or like when you could point things out and for it to mean something, that matters to me. I like
100%.
to, especially when it comes to like Bitcoin over anything. I used to trade alts like crazy. That used to be my shit. I used to snipe alts and all that shit. Like Eli is killing alts shit. I learned from him. But like when it comes to a BTC thing, I learned from McKellen. I like to put my money in things like that more often. Like BTC, ETH, I predict these movements a lot more. SOL, I'm a lot more familiar. So that's what I liked about the trading that I've been doing, as well as like the confluences I look at. It's not hard to tell when a coin's going to reverse, and when to have an opinion on to enter a long or not. And that's why I like to give you guys trades when I do, because like at the times when I can explain things to you, it can translate well on a chart. Like again, when we're looking at this 4-hour divergence, it's not hard to see a divergence print, and that's on the 1 day, right? You don't really get that too often in uptrends like that. So when you do, you got to take advantage. Even like right here, we didn't get a 1 day divergence here. Like that was not a 1 day divergence. That was just a good deviation sort of play, right? We did not get a divergence there. We did get one here. So that's something to take note of, is that like you want to play these demand levels when you get them, right? You even have a 1 day demand level here. You want to play them when you get them, and you want to enter in when it's most frightening to do so, because those are the times you get paid, the most a lot of the times. Just creating opinions like that around the time it matters. I'm going to take a look at SOL here because we took a play over the weekend. I want you to talk about a play that you took as well.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha,
then
gotcha,
we'll
gotcha.
take a look at some index as well. I want to make some intraday opinions, even though I gave my opinions already. And
I'm
things
gonna I'm gonna
aren't,
throw some chart requests. I'm gonna take care of some chart requests in chat. So
of course, and things aren't as clear right now, I would say, as they should be. I would say this for every single trader, unless you have plans already like that, right? Because we have things that can move the market tomorrow and throughout the week. So it's important to keep that into note. So I think that plans that you made previous can work out well. There's been a lot of times where plans that I made like that 110.6, 110.3 bid that got front ran yesterday by $100. If I would have just kept that up, they get filled tomorrow or the day after into the weekend, and then we rerun that shit. So that's what I'm planning for. Just gonna keep my 110 bids, be optimistic about those 112 three levels, but have more conviction where I did previous. That's what I'm looking at for longs and what I'm gonna time alts with. But when we're looking at SOL, where do I have the play at? So I took this play, just like I was looking up at the 4 hour. You remember we played this 4 hour demand last week. Beautiful play. Again, when we play these demand levels, they matter, especially in uptrends and ranging markets like this. We played that, played out beautifully. I took my profit here. It came down, retested, printed a higher low. I wasn't in. I just assumed that, again, from a liquidity standpoint, and what I tried to explain to you guys on ETH on the higher time frame is from a lower time frame perspective. At
yeah, hey,
this,
you still have ETH up. If I wasn't sure if you were talking about Solar or ETH, but ETH's still up.
oh shit. Appreciate you telling me that now before I
Absolutely.
wow, that was about to be really bad. Holy shit.
I've done that, dude. I've done that so many
That
times.
would have sucked. You know how many times I did that, bro? And fucking I explained the whole analysis. Like, what? So, guys, on SOL, we played this 4 hour demand last week. Absolutely perfect. We took profit up here, and it came back down pretty higher low we weren't in. And from this point on, I wasn't in a position. I didn't catch this flip, and I wanted to assume liquidity towards one direction. So, like I was showing you guys on ETH from the higher time frame, where the liquidity we should be targeting and such. On SOL, we were trading at around the midline of this consolidation. We swept these lows. So, in my opinion, where is most likely to test first? Are we going to sweep these lows first, or are we going to sweep these highs first? And in my opinion, we were going to sweep the highs first, given like the current atmosphere of the market yesterday. I assume that SOL was going to give way, especially since ETH was showing a little bit of weakness. People didn't really have their eyes on SOL for whatever reason. We did tap the top end of this supply, so this is a level that people are trying to short. That eventually flipped back upwards. So people had entries here for shorts. So in theory, these people should either like hold their position and it should be taking them out. Let's say if you want to close out break even, or if they still want to hold their position, etc., etc. I could go in way too deep on liquidity, and I don't want to explain that right now. This isn't a class, but needless to say, I wanted to take out either these highs or these lows, and which way first. My opinion was those highs, and if not, this is a good level to bid. Or a sweep of that invalidation. But that is my invalidation for that intraday play. It ended up playing out beautifully. We tapped into supply, which I'm going to scroll out on the higher time frame and show you guys where we're trading around for people that hold SOL or are interested in that analysis. Just because I've been looking at this chart for the last couple of days. So, played out beautifully. I didn't get the full TP at 227, but I did take a little over half on that play. And you're only really risking like 3% to gain 5 to 6. So I like that as a risk. That being said, if you call positions yesterday, they can be swing positions, but it's not guaranteed. We pushed into this supply level that I have on the 3-day here. And we've been trading in that level. So that's where I wanted to push into. If we begin to close above 222.8, like the level we're trading around now and the level that we're rejecting at, that's where I'd look for a push up towards 245. I think that SOL could push towards 250s as long as we begin to flip this level here. That being said, I think we can retest lower. And I think CPI could give away for a good retest on alts. I think ETH is showing its hand early, and I think that could translate into alts, including SOL. Where would I go short from SOL? I'm looking for a sweep of this high towards 227. I think this could print a nice divergence. I haven't looked at the divergence right now, but I think we can maybe see something like this maybe. And then it to move back down, sweep out the weekend lows, or not the weekend lows, I'm sorry, the lows from yesterday. It felt like a weekend the way that we were trading the last couple of days. I think we could see something like this on SOL, and this is what I'm bidding. Do you have any opinion on SOL, Bryce? I don't know if you look at SOL.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted there. On Soul.
Yeah, I don't know if you really look at SOL.
Yeah. I mean, lately it's been weird, right? Because obviously super, super, super bullish, and that's been a terrible indicator for us. In the past few weeks, right? Like every time Sol's been super bullish, the market's pulled back. Um, for me, I like the way you're approaching it of like us taking out the shorts from the highs first. I think to get long, like 217.60 area could be pretty nice. But it's straight vertical accumulation right now. Like this is kind of a hard bid for me, just because it's such a violent uptrend from the lows at 200. So, I think for a scalp, like 217.50 could be nice, and then a little bit lower for a swing. I'd like 210s to 208.50. Um, it's hard for me though. Obviously, we have like the treasury narrative, but it's hard for me to see us reaching the levels that we did when the president of the United States launched a Sol meme coin, right? Like I don't know if Sol can reach those levels again. Maybe, but it's I don't know. It's kind of a hard mental barrier for me to get across, right? Like the president of the United States launched a Sol meme coin. I don't know if we'll see those levels again, but yeah, triggers are in place. I think if we start closing some dailies, multiple dailies above 220, then maybe a move into like 243, where I'd look to get a swing short from 243 to 249, stops above 260. But yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. Anybody have any charts they want me to look at right now? I want to take a look at BTC, ETH, and SOL. Honestly, guys, like I said, I think anybody's analysis, whoever you follow, pay attention to, or your own, like I think is important to look at because it's just about just acting right now on what's going on in the market, in my opinion. Um, where the news, whatever events are gonna shake up the market and move it around. But the few coins that I keep my eyes on are Hype, SOL, ETH, BTC. You guys know how I trade. So when it comes to these coins, these are the ones that I'm gonna make decisions for. These are the coins that I want to trade. I could really care less about what all the others do.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So right now on Hype, what I like is this flip of the previous highs. We caught a beautiful move on Hype. Sadly, I didn't ride it all the way. It is what it is. And I was also tracking this whole fucking move up, which sucked. But we got this all-time high, absolute beautiful flip. I think that if we retest that level, that's just easy bids. So that's where I'm gonna entertain my bids at for Hype, is around this all-time high flip. I think there'll be a time where that gets retested, hopefully soon.
Like 49, 49.70 area, or the highs that we made at 51.
I'd be willing to bid 50, 60 to 40,
Yep.
80. Like, I'd be willing to bid that whole level. I'm actually going to place a limit for that right now.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that. And you have that 4 hour. I don't know if you have the 4 hour pulled up, but you have that 4 hour single print that hasn't been tapped yet. Maybe tap that imbalance. Invalidation. Where are you gonna have your inval at? That's where it gets.
I would just say like 46.90, like a little
Yep,
bit
I got
loose.
46. I got 46.92. I think that's really the only spot, because we shouldn't fill that breakaway gap, that initial 4 hour single print candle, that initial 4 hour breakaway gap. I think that's a really nice bid.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I like that a lot. I think the invalidation is clear on that impulsive candle up too, so I just placed a limit for that. Beautiful. Not seen the SOL chart. Hold on. Pocky Rocky, my boy. Okay, so we got that one. Is there any one that you want to look at on your screen, brother? I don't want to, or do you want me to pull up? Like ENA or GRT, anything you played recently
Um,
before I look at these indexes?
um, do you want me to go over? You want me to go over like one of the trades I took from this past week? I can do
Yeah, I didn't
that.
know if you were looking at some continuation analysis on anything you played or anything like that. What's up, Musi? How you doing,
Um,
bro?
yeah. I can do that. I can do that. Here, I'll pull up my chart real quick.
Okay,
Um,
cool, 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 cool.
can we both have our screen shared at the same time?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you because if not, I'll just scan through these indexes really quick and then actually let's do this. I'm
Yeah.
gonna scan through these indexes and then we'll go to your screen. So really quick, let's look at USDT. So I thought we were gonna get a higher pop on USDT on that one, but we're still just chopping around this tight ass range, and we're seeing reactions that happen from this tight. I from trading in 2021 to like now is so different in the way these indexes move. It's so crazy how tight these moves occur, and the alts just give 8 to 10% moves just overnight after not doing anything on these very small moves. Like just picture we get a drastic move, what's gonna happen? So that's just the main difference I see now compared to like other times. It was a lot easier to predict what the index was gonna do before it even happened, and I'm not seeing that now. But USDT is trading within this level of demand. We're anticipating supply here on the 3 day. Um, so if we do get this push down further, obviously we're going to see a move up in our markets. And at around this 417%, we might see a bounce. We could also just keep chopping around this tight range as well where we hold this level, move back up here, everything drops, move back down here, everything pops. So you got to always see what's happening with these indexes. You want to always monitor USDTD, total 2, right? So let's take a look at total 2, what's going on with it. So again, we're just holding this higher low above support. I wanted us to sweep this level. We didn't get that sweep. We ended up pushing up higher, so I had to look for longs yesterday, which is why I said yesterday was really the time for longs because if you were long logically, you were long off this higher low. Yesterday was a hard long for a lot of people. So if you did, congrats on you. That's why we longed. That being said, if we do a retest, are we going to sweep that yesterday's low? Are we going to keep going up off here with this invalidation below this low? Um, I don't know yet. I don't know. And I want to see how the markets react to what happens tomorrow as well. So I think that securing profit off yesterday's position is a wise move. Just looking like intraday, from an intraday perspective. If we were to ever push down into the supply, let's say we push down here tomorrow, that would be a smart place to bid. That's a very smart place to bid, in my opinion. Take a look at BTCD as well. For BTCD, we really have just been holding this level that I anticipated us holding. We haven't really gotten a reaction from it. And just like USDT, nothing really drastic is happening here. Even more so, I would say. Nothing really is happening here. And until a move happens, we're not really going to see the reaction for BTCD, obviously. Same with ETH BTC, but I would say you're seeing more of a move for ETH BTC happening than BTC. And on ETH, it's happening more drastic. We saw a harsh rejection. We see weakness in ETH BTC. I think that there's a chance we test this demand level for ETH BTC. And if we do that, we could get a really good retest at around 3,800 for ETH. So I see that as a potential as well. And if that happens, we'll see a pop on BTCD. And the adverse reaction would be like a deviation of this trend. It's not guaranteed to happen, but it's something that I was monitoring and I've been monitoring. We're really seeing nothing happening on all these indexes. Man, has it been a boring market. Holy shit.
Yeah, it has been.
Wow, bro.
The East daily chart just sums it up fucking perfectly.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I have things on like the lower time frame. But when I look at the higher time frame, I'm like, man, as a higher time frame trader, it must be so like just nothing.
Yep.
And we're seeing all time highs on gold. So That's pretty much.
Gold, silver's ripping too. A lot of precious metals are fucking sending.
SPX is at the high. So this is pretty much
Yep.
like everything that I look at. Like ETH I wanted to pull up this chart really quick too. We're just at a midline. We're at a clear rejection point as well. Like this is just a clear level of rejection. So I'll just be looking for us to either like we can hold this level, but we already held this level previous, and we rejected violently off this structure, like retest right here. So I'll really just be looking for like around these 3-2 levels. I think that's a good level to look for on ETH. BTC, if we do begin to break down, you got to remember we had a big turn up on it, so it's not out of the ordinary to get a crazy retest. I would want to see it in a quick wick if it were to happen, and I do think, again, I'm just looking for macro, or should say macro, quote unquote. And I'm writing these down here. Hype, I'm looking for 50s down to 49.80, right? Sol, I'm looking for 210s.
Yep.
XRP, I'm looking for
90s.
290s. That's pretty much what I'm looking at.